Good, happy Tuesday morning. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast. Let's get started. First up, VA whistleblowers speak to veterans at meeting. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Kristen Carosa.
Axe body spray. Use it to stay fresh all day. And this is Axe dry spray. Use it to stay dry for 48 hours. Why are you touching your armpit?
A majority of the original 11 whistleblowers spoke one by one, expressing their concerns about the Manchester VA Medical Center to veterans themselves.
We're going to try to get better care for the veterans.
Dr. William Coys is the director of the Spinal Cord Clinic at the VA. He started the whistleblower group more than a year ago. Since that time, an investigation has been ongoing.
It's growing. We're now up to 12. And so I just wasn't willing to put up and seeing people injured anymore.
Coys says issues included outdated equipment and flies in the operating room. The town hall comes after the removal of 2 top officials from the Manchester VA after a Boston Globe article highlighted allegations of negligence and mismanagement.
It took everything I had to go in there and see something, but it needs to change.
Cindy McGurk, a U.S. Army veteran, was one of many veterans who shared their story. She says she did not receive the care she needed at the VA.
We should have support. We are just as important as everybody else.
We're told all the issues raised tonight will be shared with VA Secretary David Shulkin, who is visiting the state on Friday.
I just hope that this message from today gets out to the people who have the power to do something about it.
In a statement, Acting VA Medical Center Director Alfred Montoya said, "I attended the town hall tonight because I wanted to hear the concerns of our veterans and staff firsthand. We're taking action where needed in order to improve the care provided at the Manchester VA Medical Center." Organizers of this town hall say they'd like to hold more, hoping that more veterans come forward. Reporting in Manchester, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Jet ski crash on Cape Cod sounded like a car accident. Let's take a listen to this video from WCVB Boston.
The waterfront was never quite like this. Views included. Our new a la carte brunch features traditional classics, our famous waterfront Benedict bar, and of course, cocktails. Mark your Sundays and join us in Meow.
It sounded almost like a car accident, that kind of a loud noise.
A relaxing afternoon on Johns Pond in Mashpee quickly turned hectic.
You could see that that both jet skis were stopped in the water. They were just floating. No one was like trying to move them or anything.
About a quarter-mile offshore, 2 19-year-olds on jet skis crashing head-on.
2 jet skis that collided. Coast Guard Beach, middle of the lake.
Ed Lyons and his wife quickly jumped into their boat
And found a young man on the back of the jet ski holding the young lady by part of the life jacket, and he's telling us that she's hurt. I was able to reach over to the side and just hold her right next to the boat, and my wife actually piloted the boat in.
Another rescuer in a pontoon boat picked up the young man. Lyons, who was a nurse practitioner, knew not to pull the young woman on board.
I was afraid that she had maybe a spinal injury. I really didn't know. She was having a hard time catching her breath.
Holding her by her life vest.
I kept telling her just to take some, deep breaths in through your nose.
And comforting her all the way to shore.
And we got into the shore, and some people helped us get her on a surfboard, actually, with the fire department, and then carried her up onto the lawn.
The victim was med-flighted to a hospital in Rhode Island.
I did the best I could, but I think that, the main thing is, she got in safely, and hopefully she's okay.
Both Lyons and the rescue team from the fire department here say the fact that the 2 jet skiers were wearing their life vests this afternoon prevented a real tragedy. This accident remains under investigation. Live in Mashpee, Jorge Quiroga, WCBB News in 5.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Severe storms bring down trees, wires in western Maine. Let's take a listen to this video from WMTW News 8 in Maine.
You could tell as we got into town that there was quite a storm that blew through here earlier. Right up and down this road behind me, there are crews actually out. CMP and other crews have been out cleaning up the area, but you know, there's been a lot of branches down, a lot of damage up and down this road. We're on West Freiburg Road right now. Power has been out here for hours since that storm blew through. We spoke with Rachel Damon earlier about the storm that came through. She said, you know, this is typical for this area. They've seen these storms before, but this was definitely one that packed a punch.
Lasted maybe 15 or 20 minutes, but it was rugged. It was a torrential rain, a lot of thunder and lightning right here, and a lot of wind. So next thing we know, the power is out, and it's been out ever since.
Yeah, so pretty dark right now out here with the power out, and, you know, that it's nighttime, right? But the power should be back pretty soon. As I said, CMP crews have been up and down this road working to get the electricity back on for everybody. But if you are driving through this area, you'll want to make sure to keep a lookout. Take it slow because there are still some branches and debris out on the roadways. Live in Freiburg, Morgan Sturdivant, WMTW News 8.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Seed funding slows in Silicon Valley. The bloom is off seed funding. The business is providing money to brand new startups as investors take more measured approach to financing emerging U.S. technology companies. Trump dedicated son's misleading statement on meeting with Russian lawyer sources. Let's take a listen to this video from ABC News.
Hybrid. A few truly move us. With over 1 million on the road, Lexus hybrids are always charged and always ready. Experience amazing.
The Kremlin this evening has delivered their own response to Congress, voting to impose new sanctions on Russia for meddling in the U.S. election. Vladimir Putin himself announcing the dismissal of more than 700 U.S. diplomatic staff in Russia. Here's ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz tonight.
Russia now striking back at the U.S., announcing the expulsion of U.S. diplomats from the country, demanding more than 700 embassy and consulate staff be removed from their jobs, leaving just 455, the same number of Russian diplomats remaining in the U.S. after we expelled personnel last December. Russia also seizing 2 properties used by U.S. diplomats in Russia, moving trucks already on the scene. The retaliation comes after that congressional vote to increase sanctions against Russia as punishment for Moscow's election meddling. President Trump expected to sign that bill despite his administration's criticisms of it. It was less than a month ago that President Trump and President Putin had that first face-to-face at the G20, but now that relationship on a downward spiral.
Vladimir Putin responding to those sanctions, and tonight President Trump responding to something else. North Korea's firing of an intercontinental ballistic missile. So let's bring back in Martha Raddatz with us tonight. And Martha, we saw how the U.S. is responding with that THAAD missile intercept test, that test successfully destroying a missile similar to North Korea's. And this is what the president said today about North Korea.
We'll handle North Korea. We're going to be able to handle it. It will be handled. We handle everything.
We handle everything, but he didn't reveal what the options are, nor would the White House. But do we know, Martha, from your reporting?
Well, I think clearly what President Trump is trying to do is to pressure China, to pressure North Korea. But, David, that has not worked in the past. There are really no good options here.
All right, Martha Raddatz with us live from Washington.
Okay, and there you go on that report. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday and see you back here later on today. Goodbye, everyone.